Okay, everybody, I'm back for the second night in a row. Now, it is 10:24 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is Halloween night. This is Friday, October the 31st, 2025. And no, I didn't tell anybody I was going to go live. Steven doesn't even know. In fact, I haven't talked to Steven at all in the past several hours, not since he was about to make his delivery. So he didn't even know. Last night, I gave him the courtesy. I gave Steven the courtesy last night to let him know that I was going to be going live. But I have not heard. I have two people watching me now. That's great. I think the lighting is not really good on me. Maybe that is that better lighting? I think that's better lighting. I did not let Steven know, and so I'm not sure what Steven is doing right now. The last time I talked to him, he was about to make his deliveries. So he had not yet delivered his boats yet the last time I talked to him. And that was it's 10:30 at night and his appointment was at 3:30. But now he is in Arizona and I'm in Kentucky. So he's 2 hours behind me. I think that's what he said, if I got my time zones right. But anyway, if Steven catches me, that would be great. If not, I can't tell you how many times that Steven has started a live and didn't even tell me. Not that it's tit for tat, not that I'm trying to be ugly to Steven, but anyway, the whole purpose of this is we are 11 away. 11. We are 11 away from reaching 10K, and I'm just going to try for the second night in a row to see if we can get 10K live. I mean, that's pretty exciting. So last night I got to thinking, I did some research and I thought, what does YouTube do to recognize you when you get 10K subs? It's a huge deal. It is uh, a milestone that many channels never reach. Now, I'm sure that the six of you all that are watching now watch channels that have 30, 40, 50,000. Obviously, Stephen works for Tim Gentry, who has over 100,000 subscribers, over 100. Then we watch a channel called Bruce Wilson. Justin Burgers is my first commenter. Hello, Justin. Um, Bruce Wilson has over 1 million subscribers. So, we're still small beans, okay? But it is. Oh, Mr. George is here. Oh, Mr. G. Uh-oh. Forget. I'm not supposed to say your name. Sorry, Mr. G. YouTube is awesome. I'm not supposed to say your name. We need 11 more to answer Utah 801. We need 11 more. So, you were the first commenter. Okay. Oh, you want your credit? Well, according to my screen, Justin Burgers was the first commenter. According to my screen, Justin Burgers came in and said hello, and then Mr. YouTube is awesome came in after that. But anyway, but you're both here. You're both here, and I'm only 4 minutes into it. So I've only started it 4 minutes into it. Now, I know that last night we were very hopeful last night, thinking that we could get 21 people last night. And that's kind of expecting a lot. And I went on for 3 hours and I'm like, okay, well, I can't get 21 in 3 hours. But uh, I have to look on my phone because I can't see it on my screen. We are 11 away. We'll send you a screen pic in the email. Oh, that's not necessary. Mr. G, that's not, thank you. That's not necessary. Right here, I don't know if you all can see that. Can you see that number? It says 9989. So I'm just gonna, it's not on my screen on the computer, but I can see it on my phone. So that's not necessary, Mr. G. But thank you. I'll just keep watching on my phone screen. But thank you for the offer. I don't know if we'll be able to get. See, here's my thing. I'm afraid that I'm gonna go to bed tonight, and then I'm gonna wake up to like a little over 10,000, and I want to see it hit 10K. Okay, that's what I want to see. So like, if I go to bed tonight and we're like 5 away from the 10K, and then I wake up and it's 10,003 or 10,004. Not that that's a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Okay. But I want to see those numbers. I want to see where it says 10K. That's what I want to see. So I guess I'm just being a little bit silly, a little bit funny dunny about that. But you all know, if you watch our channel, you all know that I send you every time we get 100 subscribers, and I may not necessarily do that now that once we reached 10K, but I have for a long time been sending you an update every time we get 100 subscribers. I will put that on our channel. Well, we've reached another 100. We've reached another 100. So I just want to see that number change. So you did not have another commercial like that. YouTube is awesome. I think that you're just pulling my leg. I don't think that you're actually getting those commercials. I think that you're just pulling my leg. I can't imagine. I can't. We don't have a choice. We don't choose the commercials. We don't choose the ads that go into our videos. YouTube does that. So I really hope that you're just teasing. But anyway, it is. I know that Stephen and I are making a really big deal about this. It is, at least to us. But let me rephrase it. Maybe some people just don't care, but it is to us a really big deal about reaching 10K. It's just that first huge monumental, well, when we got our first 1,000, that was really exciting when we reached our first 1,000. And so now here we are almost 9,000 later, and it is a monumental moment. Now, I will say this, last night I got interested and I thought, well, what does YouTube do for you when you reach 10K? What are the rewards? What are the efforts? What do you get when when you reach 10K? If you watch those bigger channels, you know what a play button is, like a silver play button, a gold play button. You know what a YouTube play button is. Well, you don't get your first play button until you reach 100,000. 100,000. And here we are excited about reaching 10,000. So we are a long way away from a play button. But what you do get is YouTube sends you what they call a congratulatory, that's a hard word to say. YouTube sends you a congratulatory email saying, hey, congratulations. People really like your channel. You have reached 10K subscribers. And so it's just a piece of paper to print, and you can frame it. So it's not a play button, but it is a recognition from YouTube. So when we get that email, when YouTube sends us this email, you better believe we're going to be making all kinds of big deals about it. Now, interestingly, it was October, and I think I discussed this in last night's live. As long as it has taken you guys, probably will come as a stop. Oh, that's funny. As long as you guys, it's taking you guys, it will probably come as a stone slab. Yep, that's true. That is so true, Mr. G. That is so true. Uh, I mean, some people can hit 10K overnight. I discussed that. I'm not going to keep rehashing that. I mean, that's kind of beating a dead horse, right? I'm not going to keep rehashing that. Some people just have great content and amazing content and other factors that they can just hit it overnight. I mean, maybe not literally overnight, but within a week or two, they can have a couple, like 20 or 30 thousand subscribers. But that's not us. It's taken us 5.5 years to do this. And that's why we are pretty excited about it. And we are trying to include everybody who watches us on a regular basis, the people that are truly interested in our channel, the people that have a vested interest in our channel, the people that look forward to every time they see that we have uploaded a video, that they want to look and see what Big Billy has to put up. Those are the type of people that we are trying to just include, and we're trying to share our excitement, and we're trying to make it a really big deal, because that's all about the interaction of the community interaction. It's not just about Stephen and Ruthie. It is community interaction. And you all are our YouTube community. So we want to include you all in this excitement. Mr. Burgers, I am helping you. Yes, you are helping us by being here in the live. And when you comment on videos, that helps for sure. Everybody that's here in the live tonight is helping and just being a part of our YouTube family. So there will be no big play button. There will be no what is it? Golden buzzer. Is that that talent show, America's Got Talent, or that singing talent show where they have the golden buzzard and they hit the golden buzzard and all that golden confetti falls down? There's not going to be anything like that. Yep, on Facebook. If you like our stuff on Facebook, that's cool too. Yeah, that's right, Mr. Justin. So anyway, I just would like to end the month of October. This is October 31st. I would like to end the month of October and go into November, knowing that we have our name change set and that we are ready to start fresh and new, and with that 10K. And it's just a big deal. I know what I was saying earlier. I do tend to get off on rabbit trails, and I tend to. Did y'all hear Stephen today? Did you watch the video that Stephen put up today? He wasn't very nice to me. He was like, well, she bumbled along. She took 3 hours to tell you our news. She finally told you our news. It took her 3 hours to tell you. Oh, Mr. Burgers, you're sharing us on your Facebook page. Okay, that's great. I appreciate you doing that. That you're sharing us on your Facebook page. That's great. So anyway, what? Oh yeah. So Stephen, I don't have a cheat sheet in front of me tonight because it didn't even help me last night. I had a script. I had a cheat sheet. I had a script, and I couldn't even follow that. But yeah, Stephen was like, "Well, she certainly bumbled along and took 3 hours to tell you our news." So I know that in middle school and high school, I had a very horrible nickname. I had a name that was given to me in middle school and high school, and people called me Motor Mouth, if you can believe it. Motor Mouth, because I just constantly am chattering and talking, and I can just go a mile a minute, and I was called Motor Mouth in school. That was the mean nickname that I had. So, but now Stephen had an hour and a half long video today. So he was criticizing my 3 hours last night, but he had an hour and a half long video today. So I don't know if you all watched the whole hour and a half, but he he could have been a motor mouth today. And I did watch Steven's whole video. I did. I watched it all. And I made lots of comments from my YouTube, my lesser known YouTube channel, my smaller one where I only have 2,000 subscribers on that. I made all kinds of comments on that on our video. But anyway, so let's talk about the name change. So tell me in the comments. There's 6 people watching right now. Tell me if you did watch Steven's. Just say yes, I watched it, or no, I didn't watch it. Just tell me right now in the comments. Did you watch Steven's hour and a half long video, or did you? Oh no, you did not, Mr. G. You did not watch Steven's long hour and a half video. Oh, Mr. Justin, you did? Okay, that's good. And he was basically confirming what took me 3 hours last night to get to, about our change of our name. So the funny thing is that almost, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, Steven came to me 2 weeks ago, and without talking to me before, he said, we're about to hit 10K and we're going to change our name, our channel name. We're going to change our channel name. I'm like, why? Why are we going to do that? We've only had the Big Belly Bumbles for, it was a year in September, and that was our 6th out of 5.5 years. That was our 6th name change. I'm like, why are we going to change names? I think my glasses are reflecting, but why are we going to change names? Well, because we need to get Big Belly out of the title. We need to just get rid of Big Belly because Big Belly is not doing anything for us. We need to have a name that is more professional and sounds more like a trucking channel. Big Belly makes us sound like we're an exercise channel or a dieting channel. And when you type in Big Belly, you get dieting information, you get food information, you get pictures of people with big bellies. And so he was like, we're going to take it out. But interestingly, the overwhelming response from our larger audience, now there were some who said that we should take the Big Belly out. There were some, but the larger portion of our audience felt like that because we've had that for 5.5 years that we should keep it. There's something to be said about name recognition. I mean, because for every channel name that we have had, and I discussed this at great length last night. For every channel name that we have had Big Belly in the title somewhere, whether it was Big Belly Beaver, Big Belly Trucking, Big Belly and Son Trucking, Big Belly Rebuilds, Big Belly Rebuilds Family. We have always had Big Belly in there somewhere, and most of you that are our faithful watchers, our faithful subscribers, liked it. And then we talked, Steven, in Steven's video today, he talked about how AJ wanted to be included back into our channel. And AJ asked to be included back into our channel. And he's like, so our son was saying that he really wants us to change it back to Big Belly and Son. Steven talked a lot today in his hour and a half long video today about how when we do get AJ back, we're going to once again put him back in the truck and do a certified homeschooling program. And the goal is to have him help Steven make videos, for AJ to help edit Steven's videos, for AJ to film Steven, for AJ to take up a larger mantle and to do more than just to sit there in the truck. And of course he has his school studies, but Steven is going to pay him, gonna give him a paycheck, so to speak. I mean, I don't know how we're going to do that, but Steven is going to pay him to be our video editor. So that puts a lot of, new responsibility on AJ, and he's going to love it. He wants to do that. He's going to love it. So it just made sense to keep the familiar Big Belly and then to bring AJ back. But as I talked about in last night's live, if you watched this part in last night's live, the whole irony to me, and I do think it's ironic, the whole irony to me is that in our long series of name changes, there's been Big Belly Bumbles is number 6. In our long history of name changes, Big Belly and Son Trucking was number 4. That was our 4th name change. So we're going to actually go back to number 4. And then when Steven sold that black Freightliner, if you've been with us that long, when Steven sold that black Freightliner on Memorial Day weekend of 2024, and we got out of trucking, and then he bought that track loader, and we didn't have a truck anymore. Well, then we weren't a trucking channel anymore. So we actually had to get the trucking out of our name, and AJ wasn't in any truck with Steven anymore. And then that's when we became Big Belly Beaver, which was just, that was from June to September of last year. That was short-lived, very, very short-lived. Now, of the 8 people that I have watching now, there's 8 of you watching, because I have a counter up there that tells me how many people are watching. So of the 8 people that are watching, I don't know how many of you knew, if you were part of our channel when Steven had the track loader. That was a disaster, an absolute disaster. So it was Memorial Day weekend that Steven sold that last truck, got out of trucking. So he and AJ going on the road together, that was no more. At that point, that was no more. And we got the track loader, and we had that for 3 months, from June until September. And so we thought we were going to be, at that point, the name of our channel was Big Belly, because we kept the Big Belly Beaver Land Clearing and Mulching. That was our official channel name, Big Belly Beaver Land Clearing and Mulching. Well, that was a complete bomb. I mean, and I'm not going to keep rehashing what I did last night, but we couldn't get any type of insurance on that track loader. Nobody would insure that machine. And Steven actually, tisk, took a risk, tisk, and he did 3 jobs with it with no insurance on it, just praying that nothing happened and no disaster struck, because that could have bankrupted us. If something had happened and he had done a job with that and no insurance, that could have absolutely done us in financially forever. We could have been sued or whatever, but it was too much of a liability. It was just too much of a liability to keep that machine. We couldn't continue with no insurance on it. People weren't interested in hiring a track loader, at least in this area. So then that's when we had to part with that. Mr. George says, get a dice with all the numbers that you have had for names and roll it once a month. Get a dice with all the numbers you have had for names and roll it once a month. That's clever. Okay, that's clever. Thank you for making me laugh. Ben Wilkinson. Hi, Mrs. Bumbles. Well, hello, Ben Wilkinson. Hello. I'm afraid that I hope that everybody still calls me Bumbles, but Bumbles is about to be no more. I mean, no, I'm not saying I'm about to be no more. I hope not. I don't want to be speaking something that we got okay. Okay. I'm sorry. We've gained 1 subscriber since the 25 minutes that I have been rattling on. We've gained 1 subscriber. We are now at 9,990. We need 10 more people before it rolls over to 10K subscribers. And I want that to happen. The whole purpose, I tried to do it last night. I tried to do it last night and it didn't work. There was no interest. Okay, but can we not get 10? Can we not get 10 subscribers to give us that 10K, 10 for 10? So we are at 9,990. So I hope this doesn't turn into another 3-hour marathon. I don't know if I have it in me tonight. I don't know. I hope you slept in this morning. It's going to be a long night. That's mean. That's mean. YouTube is awesome. Let me go back to Mr. Ben. You can still call me Bumbles, Mr. Ben. I'm used to it. I've been Bumbles for I have been the Bumbles because I bumble around and I bumble and fumble everything. I'm the redheaded clown icon. Speaking of which, we won't have that anymore. We won't have the redheaded bozo, the clown looking thing anymore. But what Steven's like, I'm Big Belly, and I'll say, and I'm Bumbles. And together we are Big Belly Bumbles. So when we get 10 more subscribers, it will not be Big Belly Bumbles anymore. It'll be Big Belly and Son Trucking. But Mr. Ben, if you always want to think about me as Mrs. Bumbles, that would be great. I don't have any problem with it. It's just that Bumbles won't be part of the channel name. That is too funny, Mr. G. I hope you slept in this morning. It's going to be a long night. Well, let's not think of it like that. Surely we can get 10. Surely. Now let me ask you. There are 7 people watching right now. So whoever you are in the shadows, because you can see me, but I can't see you. So the 7 people that are watching right now, are you subscribed? Have you ever hit that subscribe button? So let's check yourself. If you watch our content and you like our content and you have never hit the subscribe button, this would be the moment to do that. This would be the opportunity to do that. I wish that I wish I had that golden buzzer. I wish I did when they press it and all the confetti falls down. Oh, Mr. G. When you hit 10K, I will unsub, so you will have to wait a little bit longer. I hit the like button. Thank you. That's a good reminder. If you have not hit the like button, please do so. Please hit that like button. Was the first for that tonight also. Well, thank you for being the first. You are the first for everything, it seems. So thank you for that. Paul Smith. Although there's a Z, am I reading that right? Paulz. Paul Z. I'm probably not even saying that. It looks like Paul with a Z on it. Paul's Smith. Yes, I found you on Tim's channel. Well, that's great. That's great. So we're not going to pretend that Tim's channel did not help us. Tim's channel helped us greatly. So this time last year, from at the end of October of 2024, we had just over 6,000 subscribers. 6,000 at the end of October last year. So now we're hitting, we have 10 more and we'll have 10K. So, and a large part of that channel growth is because of Tim Gentry's channel. and Tim Gentry, Stephen working for Tim Gentry, and our exposure from Gentry and Son Trucking, and that's how people found us. I mean, that's huge. That's significant. And we're not going to pretend that we are not benefiting, that we have not benefited from Tim Gentry in that association with his name association. We absolutely have. Not to the extent that Crystal Miller has, okay? And I'm not even going to go there tonight. Not to the extent that she has. Y'all know, if you watched last night, you know that I probably just spoke my mind too much on that. But we have benefited from Tim Gentry's name, and we know that we have. Okay, Mr. Justin, my channel is, but then there's nothing, I don't know what you're trying to say, Mr. Justin. You just have my channel is, and then there's nothing else written, so I don't, at least I can't see it over here. So Paul added a Z. Yes, I added a Z for fun. Well, it certainly makes you look. It's not, you don't normally see the name Paul with a Z on it. Yeah, it's a fun name for sure. A Z can be a fun letter. Oh, another commercial. Okay. So you have a Mr. G, you have a Durex commercial. Okay. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how the what their system is about putting commercials in. I just know that that's how we make our money. That's how I'm going to check my numbers. Maybe we've added another one. That's our ad revenue. Oh, oh, we're down. We get 8 more. We're down to, we got 8 more to go. Okay, so now we're at 9,992. We can do this, you all. Okay, we're at 32 minutes into it. Okay, so we can do this. We have 8 more to go. So if you have never hit subscribe, this would be the time to do it. So boy, I'm feeling very encouraged. Very encouraged. I think we can get 8 more. Oh, you finished putting Justin.Burgers1. My channel is Justin.Burgers1. Okay. All right. We'll have to check that out. Paul with a Z. And you know what? I just thought of something. No kidding, Mr. Smith. I'm not kidding at all. I didn't think about it at first because the Z threw me off. The Z threw me off. But we have somebody that goes to our church, and his name is Paul Smith. So we know a Paul Smith, and he lives here in Cerulean, and he goes to our church. So that's interesting. That's a good thing while we have Social Security numbers, for real. Well, there's another Ruth. I go by Ruthie, okay, with an IE. I go by Ruthie, but my legal name is Ruth. Like on my driver's license, on my Social Security card, it's just RUTH, Ruth, like from the Bible, the book of Ruth. That's my legal name. Well, there is another Ruth Howard in Cadiz, Kentucky, which is just down the road. And she has a library card, and I have a library card. And so one time somebody found a Ruth Howard library card, and they turned it in, and they called me up and they said, "Did you lose your library card? Or are you missing your library card?" And I'm like, nope, no, I didn't miss my library card. So that's when I found out there was another Ruth Howard. And of course, Howard is a common last name. Just like Smith and Jones are common last names. Now, I don't think Burgers is a common name, or Wilkinson. That's not so common, I don't think. But anyway, that's why we have Social Security numbers. Now, there are so many Stephen Howards. It's not even funny. I mean, if you go to Facebook and you type in Stephen Howard, like 30, 40 people come up, probably more than that. And Stephen with the V. Now there's Stephen with PHs, STEPHEN. But Stephen Howard is a very, very common name. And in fact, Stephen's doctor sometimes got confused about, now, which Stephen Howard are you? I mean, his own doctor had like so many Stephen Howards. Oh, there's my bird clock again. I told you about that last night. Well, it's just turned 11 o'clock on. I am on the Central Time Zone. So for me, it's 11 o'clock. I don't know what time it is for you all, but for me in southwestern Kentucky, my bird clock just rolled over and told me that it's 11 o'clock. But so Paul Smith, my dad was a trucker, raw cement tanker, and my uncle and my friend hauled for Ranger Nationwide Trucking from Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, well that's cool to know. And yes, it is true, Paul with a Z, that we do have a Paul Smith in our church. And oh, so you get in those situations too where your name being a common name. I get those situations also where there might be other local Paul Smiths. But seriously though, there's multiple Stephen Howards that go to Stephen's doctor, and there was one time where the doctor, even though you have your all your information there in the chart, and you clearly have your address and your other identifying factors. I don't know if they have. I guess they obviously have your social security number and all your medical records. So I mean, but he had his chart, but he still said, now, which Stephen Howard are you? He really said that to Stephen. It's true. True. So, but just imagine if we didn't have social security numbers. Imagine the confusion. I mean, just with even just one other person having your name. Oh, true story. So, my birth middle name is Elizabeth. When I was born, my given name was Ruth Elizabeth. Okay. And my maiden name starts with a B. My maiden name is Boldt, like bold with a T. There's a hard DT sound. It's German. Boldt, not just BOLT, but BOLDT, and that's my maiden name. So when I was in college, I had not a roommate, but they called it a suite mate. So she wasn't in my room, but she was on the suite that I was in for my dormitory. And her name was Elizabeth Ruth Brown. I'll never forget it. So both of our last names started with B. She was Brown, I was Bolt, and her name was Elizabeth Ruth, and I was Ruth Elizabeth, and it was just fun. It was funny. Of course, she went by Liz. Her name was Liz Brown, and of course, my whole life I've pretty much have gone by Ruthie. I just added the IE. Every now and then I get somebody that tries to spell Ruthie with a Y, and I'm like, no, it's not RUTHY, it's IE. But I just thought because she was ERB and I was REB, and we both had Elizabeth Ruth and Ruth Elizabeth, and that was funny. But while I'm talking to you about this, not that you are particularly interested, let's check our numbers again. I don't want to be rambling on and not check our numbers. That's the whole purpose of us doing this, is to check our numbers. Nope, we're still at 8 more. We still need 8 more. We're still at 9,992. I had a bizarre one with a Paul Smith with my same birthday, right down to the month, day, year. And I had to get my lawyer involved to clear it up. He owed lots of money on outstanding bills, etc. That's insane. So I guess not even having a different, now I know you obviously had a different social security number, but the same birthday, month, day, and year, and the same name. Well, did you have the same middle name? That is scary. that is could be a good case of identity theft, and the same middle initial. Oh wow, huh? That's really scary. So, but different name, same middle initial, but different name. Okay, well at least she had that. But the fact that you had the same month, day, and the year for your birthday, that's just unreal. Again, the importance of social security numbers. I'm glad you got that changed. Yeah, it was crazy, but uh, fortunately, I've never been the victim of identity theft, and I hope I never am. I hope that I'm never the victim of identity theft. That's pretty scary. But when I got married to Steven, when I was applying for my marriage license, now we just in August we had 22 years that we've been married, 22 years in August. When I applied for my marriage license and was redoing my social security card, my mother did not know this for a long time. And she was very sad when she found out. I mean, I never told her. And years later, it came up in conversation. But I completely did away with Elizabeth. Like, I completely took it out of my name. And so I didn't want a hyphenated name. I didn't want to be Bolt hyphen Howard. But I was very attached to my maiden name, very attached to it because it was different. It wasn't the standard BOLT. It had that D in there. And in my area in southwestern Kentucky, that was not common back in the day when they still made phone books. Now they don't make paper phone books anymore. Imagine that. But back, because nobody has landlines anymore. Well, I mean, a few, but you understand what I'm saying. The whole age of the phone book is no more. It's archaic. And so, but back in the day when they had phone books, my dad and my brother were the only ones that were the BOLDT. There's like there's a whole lot of BOLTs, but that D made it special. BOLDT. My dad and my brother, in all of a large area of southwestern Kentucky. So I was very attached to it. I thought, well, that's very special. I'm going to keep that. Plus, my one brother never wanted children, and he doesn't have children. My brother was the only son that my dad had. There was three of us girls and my brother, and he never wanted children. And so he was not going to pass on my maiden name. There wasn't going to be any baby bolts running around. That's funny, baby bolts. So when I applied for my social security card, when I got married, my name changed, and then my marriage license, I took out Elizabeth altogether, and my legal name is Ruth Bolt Howard. Now it's not hyphenated. But anybody that knows me and knows me really well, that middle initial is really important to me. I don't sign anything without my middle initial. Which is funny because it doesn't stand for Bumbles. Okay, that B, although Stephen loves to say that. He loves to say B for Bumbles. I just told you, I just spent 10 minutes telling you it's for my maiden name. But it is funny how the B could be for Ruthie Bumbles, Ruthie B. But we don't say John Kennedy, do we? We say John F. Kennedy. We don't say Susan Anthony, do we? We say Susan B. Anthony. So we have some people that have those middle initials, that their name is about those middle initials. And it's just something about that middle initial. And of course, my favorite one to use, of course, was Susan B. Anthony. So I don't sign anything, and I do mean anything. Now, and I don't sign even though my legal name is Ruth. Everything I sign is Ruthie B. Howard. Everything. And that's why I am referred to very much so. People fondly call me Ruthie B. Ruthie B. My pastor calls me Ruthie B. Sometimes Stephen will say Ruthie B. It's always Ruthie B. And so if there's ever anything, somebody trying to forge a document and they say Ruth Howard, nope, that's not me at all. I'm German also. My old original name from Germany is Schmidt. And just see, there you go, the DT combination. That's correct. That is correct, Mr. Smith. The DT combination is Germanic. It is true. My old original name from Germany is Schmidt. We immigrated to the U.S. and New Jersey in the mid 1600s. You can trace your heritage to the 1600s. You can go back to trace your heritage to the 1600s. That's really impressive. I mean, it is very impressive. So then I guess Schmidt was changed to Smith at some point. Now, I don't know if this is actually true about my family heritage, but if you are familiar then with Germany, then you know that up next to Germany there is I think it's a cold water current that is Humboldt, Humboldt, which is really fun to say because it always makes me think of humbug. Scrooge, bah humbug, the HUM, hum. So that always makes me think of that. But HUMBOLDT, the Humboldt water current up close to Germany. At some point, I think somebody told me that in my own original family heritage that originally our surname was Humboldt. Well, I'm glad that if that is true, not sure that it is, but if that is true, I'm glad that they took the HUM off because it just sounds too funny. Humboldt, humbug, and it just became BOLDT. Mr. G, I am 3,000-ish. I don't know where you come up with this. I don't know. You entertain me so much. I always enjoy knowing what you're going to, not knowing in advance what you're going to write. I am 3,000-ish in line to the English throne. Well, I am glad to know that I am talking to royalty in waiting. That's funny. That's absolutely funny. But oh, you know what? Let's buy some time here. The queen was a relative. You're so entertaining. Nope. We still need 8 more. We're holding steady at 9,992. We still need 8 more people. I don't want to go to bed tonight and miss that golden buzzer moment. Like the moment I go to sleep, it's going to roll over to 10K, and then I will miss that golden buzzer moment. I'm still trying to hold out. And I mean, maybe we're making too big of a deal about this. I mean, I don't think we are. It's just a huge milestone, okay? It is for us. It's our journey. It's our journey on YouTube. And we've only been a monetized channel. It was this month 2 years ago. So even though we have been on YouTube for 5.5 years, we basically worked for nothing, for pay at all, for 3.5 years. It was October of 2023 when we finally met all of the requirements. You had to have so many watch hours in one calendar year. You had to have, now we did have over 1,000 subscribers at that time. You had to have a minimal of 1,000 subscribers, but the hardest thing was the watch hours. You had to have a certain number of watch hours within a 365-day window, and that was the hardest thing to do. So it took us 3.5 years to do that. So that was our first milestone, is becoming, well, I guess our first milestone was having the 1,000 subscribers. And then the second milestone was becoming a monetized channel where we could get ad revenue. So those commercial breaks that you're seeing, when you get a commercial break, we get paid for that. And so it's torture for you, I know, unless you have YouTube Premium, it's torture for you. Particularly maybe some of the commercials, but that's how we get paid, and we've been doing that for 2 years now. If you're really bored, you can find it on Ancestry Stuart clan from Scotland. So then I guess, Mr. G, I guess you were bored one day and decided to look up your family ancestry. Is that how you came across that? That's pretty, if you are related to the Queen, that's interesting. The Queen was a relative. Well, which particular Queen are you talking about? My grandmother did our family history back in the 1960s, published our family tree when completed finally in 1986. Our German, this is Paul Smith talking. German line continues back to the 11th century in Germany. Well, that's just completely fascinating. Oh, when you were a child, Mr. G, when you were a child, a person did a gene trace deal. Okay. So, I know everybody says this, particularly at March and St. Patrick's Day. I know it's very, very popular for St. Patrick's Day for everybody to say that they have a little bit of Irish in them. But for me, I know that I have English and Irish roots on my mom's side of the family. And then, as we've already discussed, given my maiden name with that hard DT with my maiden name on my dad's background, I do have the Germanic, German background on my dad's side. But it is my great, let's see, I think two greats. My great great grandmother, her name was Susie. What was their I knew their last name, but I forgot. Anyway, my two greats grandmother, I think it was Dotson, Dotson, if I remember correctly, Dotson. She came over because of the Irish potato crop failure. So I do know that I definitely have Irish roots because my great great grandmother came to the United States as a result of the severe famine in Ireland for the potato blight. Mary Catherine Stuart, Queen of Scots, was a direct relative with an English duke in there somewhere. Well, that is very, very impressive. Mary Catherine Stuart, Queen of Scots, was a direct relative with an English duke in there somewhere. Well, that's very impressive that you know that. That's fantastic. I don't necessarily. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Now you tell me if I'm wrong, because you would know this. I believe that Donald Trump's mother is from Scotland. Marianne, who married Fred Trump. I know that Donald Trump's mother's name was Mary Ann. she was married to his father, Fred, and that she came from Scotland. Now, somebody look that up if you are willing and able to look that up and tell me if I'm right or wrong on that. All right, well, here's another thing that I wanted to talk about because there's less than an hour away from midnight. So, and when that midnight rolls over, we are in November. So it seems kind of fitting on this day, on October 31st, on Halloween, it seems kind of fitting to talk about this. Oh, you were interrupted by a commercial. I got a commercial. You will have to repeat that. Well, hey, that means I'm getting paid. If you got a commercial, that means that I'm getting paid. So thank you for that. Oh, okay. Mr. Smith says, yes, Trump is part Scottish. Yes, I do believe that Trump's mother is directly from Scotland. I do believe that. And I probably shouldn't say this. I probably shouldn't say this, and I don't mean anything bad by it. But somehow I wonder, with his mom being from Scotland, I wonder if that's why he has a natural flair or interest toward uh, international women. I mean, I know that Marla Maples was a Georgia peach. She was right there from Georgia, a southern Georgia peach girl. But Ivana Trump, she was well, it's left me. I mean, she was obviously foreign, and then of course Melania. So he's been married. To my knowledge, Trump's been married 3 times. To my knowledge, Ivana, Marla Maples, and now Melania. So of his 3 wives, 2 of them are foreign born. So I'm wondering if because and it may or may not have anything to do with it, but with his own mother being Scottish, maybe I mean there's something in the genes that makes him attracted to foreign women. I'm not sure. Oh, and you said that Scottish people like golfing, and maybe that's why he likes to golf so much. That I know that Trump plays golf. I do know that. But are you saying that in Scotland that golfing is a really big deal in Scotland? Hmm. But yeah, if you think about Trump's 3 marriages, that 2 of the 3 have been foreign women. And I do know that foreign women can be very exotic and beautiful, with really amazing accents and beautiful skin tones, and just can be absolutely, foreign women can be very beautiful. Oh, Mr. G, yeah, something in the genes for sure. Probably. You know, I'm saying foreign, meaning non-native to our country. But you know what? The thought just occurred to me, and this is not where I was going to go with something with Halloween, but the thought just occurred to me of how funny I might sound to somebody in another country, uh, um, whether it is Europe, or Africa, or Japan, or China. I don't feel that I'm have a real southern drawl, but people tell me all the time that I have a real southern drawl. I was born in Birmingham, Alabama. That's where my roots began, was in Birmingham, Alabama. But I have lived in Kentucky since I was 7 years old. In 1985, because I was born in 1978, I was 7 years old in 1985, and here we are 40 years later, in 2025, and I'm 47. So I have lived in Kentucky for 40 years. But many times I will come across people that tell me that I have a real strong Southern twang or a Southern, they call it a Southern drawl. I have a Southern drawl. And they'll say drawl. You have a Southern drawl. And so I just wonder if I sound really funny to people in other countries. I bet I do. Heck, I probably sound funny to some of you all, depending on what area of the country you are from. Like people from New England have a different dialect than people from my region in the Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky region. So I imagine I do sound funny. But what I wanted to talk about before the hour escapes is okay, there's now 7 people watching. I don't know who you are, and now there's 5. 2 of you just disappeared. You swiped off as soon as I said 7, 2 of you just, but now there's 4. People are leaving. Why are you all leaving? Am I that boring that every time I tell you the numbers, somebody goes away and disappears? Am I that much of a stiff? But all right, of the 4 remaining people that are watching, because I'm watching those numbers, uh, how many of you think it's acceptable for a born again believer in Jesus Christ to participate in Halloween activities? Whether it's dressing up as in a costume, or having yard decorations. How many of you is that acceptable? Is that something that a born again believer in Jesus Christ, is that something that a Christian should be doing? So I wanted to have some discussion on that tonight while we're waiting on some numbers here. Let's see how we're doing on our numbers. No, we're still holding steady at 9,992. Well, we still need 8. Somebody made a comment. Congratulations, you're almost to 10,000 subscribers. Yep, that's true. So we just need 8 more people to, I made a screenshot of that. We just need 8 more people to join the ranks and rank and file. But okay, so talk to me in the comments. Tell me what your thoughts are. I don't see anybody writing in the comments. This is a subject that's really important to me, and I struggle with it. I do. I struggle with it as a born again believer in Jesus Christ, somebody who passionately loves the Lord. I struggle when I see other people that I know are Christians and I see them put all kinds of yard decorations up, and they think it's okay about the dressing up in the costumes, and it just bothers me. The Bible says that's not good, that you are actually entertaining spirits when you do that. It just you are advocating for satanic practices. Now, I know there's just one lady in the church that I go to church with. She and I have butted heads through the years. I mean, I'm not going to change her, and she's not going to change me. And our heads have clashed. I mean, like 2 sheep in a headbutt. Not sheep, because I'm thinking of the horns, like goats. 2 goats in a headlock with the horns. She's not going to change me, and I'm not going to change her. But I know she's a born again believer in Jesus Christ. I do know that. Uh, I'm not doubting her salvation one bit. I do not say that she is not saved. I'm not saying that at all. She lives a life, a godly life, and there's a lot of evidence of the fruit of the Spirit in her life. There's a lot of evidence that she really does love the Lord and she's living for the Lord. But when it comes to Halloween, she goes berserko. She has all of the gory decorations. She has, and they're not just like friendly Casper the ghost, like the so-called innocent looking decorations. They're not just like the Casper the ghost and Glinda the Good Witch from Wizard of Oz type of decorations. This individual goes all out and has blood and gore and guts and just gruesome stuff all over her yard, everywhere. And then, of course, she advocates for all of the Halloween festivities and dressing up and all of that, and how it's just all meant to be fun and there's nothing spiritual about it. But that's just not what the scripture says. So, oh, Mr. Smith, you're back. My internet dropped. So did you have poor service and you lost connection? Well, I'm glad you're back. So your connection is back now. Well, thank you for coming back. Uh, oh, it's windy outside, and so the wind is messing up with the cellular service. Well, yeah, that happens. So that happens a lot, when Steven and I are talking and Steven's traveling. Now he's hands free. Okay, let's just establish that right now. He's hands free when he's talking to me. But when he is driving in different parts of the area on the map geographically, I can then be in the middle of a conversation and the call will drop. And the bad thing is this has happened a couple of times. Yes, it has. I'm telling on myself now. I have been so involved in talking to Steven and just being that motor mouth that I talked to you. I told you that was a nickname that people called me when I was in school, motor mouth. So I had been so highly involved in some conversations with Steven that even when his cell service dropped, I didn't know it right away. Imagine that. I didn't know that he lost signal right away. And guess what? I was still running my mouth, as Steven would say. You were still gabbing away and running your mouth. And so I spent like 4 or 5 minutes talking to the air and didn't know the phone call was dropped. Yes, that's true. I know you're giving me an LOL. So I had gone on for 3 or 4 minutes. And then finally, it occurred to me that Steven wasn't responding to anything that I said. I was just talking and I wasn't getting any type of verbal indication. I wasn't getting a uh-huh or I wasn't getting any type of vocal affirmation or vocal greeting of something. There was no vocal on his end letting me know that he was actually listening to me. And then I actually looked at the phone and saw that the call had been dropped. And at that point, I didn't realize how much I had said or how long I had gone on since the phone call had been dropped because of a bad cellular connection. And I thought, well, I have no idea how much he heard. I have no idea how much I was saying before the call was dropped. And so then that makes me mad when something like that happens. It makes me feel like, why? I don't even know what he heard me say. That's happened a couple of times. So now I'm more careful. Now I look at the screen more when I'm talking to make sure that the connection is still there. So I don't know Mr. Paul Z with a Z, Mr. Paul Smith Z Smith. I don't know if you were out of service when I was talking about this. I don't know. You probably were because you just came back into the conversation and said that you were out of service range. But what, Mr. Smith, what are your thoughts on Halloween? Since nobody else is mentioning it in the comments and I'm trying to get some conversation going and nobody's talking to me about it, like nobody wants to say anything about it. So I'm going to choose you, Mr. Smith, and I'm going to ask you, what are your thoughts on Halloween? Is it just all innocent fun and games? Is it okay for Christians to participate in Halloween? Is it okay for Christians to decorate their yards with gory and demonic and evil decorations? Is that okay or not okay? Or does it matter? Or is it just all fun and games? And then once Halloween is over with, you take it down and it's like no big deal. And it's just a day on the calendar. So I'd like to know your thoughts on that. And I also heard recently that Halloween is the biggest day. I already knew this, but I didn't know. Okay, Halloween. This is the part A. This is the part that I knew. Halloween on the satanic calendar is it's like their Christmas. It's like the biggest day of the year on their calendar, like Christmas is to a Christian. But what I did not know until recently, and it's very scary to think about this, very, very scary to think about this. I did not know that of all, because you don't even want to think about this really, not just for Halloween, but for any day of the year. Halloween is the biggest day on the calendar for human sacrifice. Human sacrifice. And you don't want to think about that, but it happens. Blood sacrifice. I'm killing another human being, and there have been studies that has said that during the month of October, a lot of homeless people go missing. Hmm. There's a lot of kidnappings in the month of October. A lot of children are taken. A lot of people disappear off the streets if they're homeless, and very suspicious, very suspicious, and that a lot of people are missing in action in October and possibly end up being that human sacrifice. So, and then of course I have two black cats, but I don't live in the city, and I don't live in any like major city limits. I live in a very rural. That's such a hard word to say. Rural. That is a hard word to say. Rural. I've always struggled with saying that word, rural. Um, I I live in a rural area that is a farming community, and uh, don't live in a major city or even close to a moderate city. And so I don't really have to worry about my two black cats, but I do hear and understand that black cats end up missing a lot too around the Halloween season, that because so many people believe that um, black cats play a role in sorcery around Halloween. So Mr. G is saying, so the moral of the story is to buy a house. Um, I apologize. YouTube is awesome. I apologize. I am not sure what your comment is supposed to mean. I don't know what you're referring to about the moral of the story is to buy a house. Did I say something that's what did I say that sparked that comment? Now you have me second guessing myself about what did I say that the moral of the story is to buy a house. You're going to have to explain that comment to me. I'm sorry. It's above my understanding. So, Mr. Smith, I think it does raise spiritual connection with the dead relatives. But like all things, there is the dark forces and good forces, I think. Well, at least thank you for making a comment. Um, Nobody else is wanting to dive in there. I've put it out there several times and nobody wants to make a comment about it. So at least thank you for writing something about it. Um, like all things, there is the dark forces and the good forces. Okay, so let's see. Oh, okay, okay. Thank you. See, because that one went right over my head, as Stephen would say, right over your head, Ruthie. So Mr. G is clarifying the comment. So if you're homeless and you get sacrificed, so buy a house. So don't be homeless around Halloween. Okay, that's right. You don't, and I'm not trying to make light of it, okay? No, I'm not trying to make light of it. This is not a joking matter. It's not. Although leave it to Mr. G to be able to make something fun out of it. But and I don't mean that in a bad way. That's just how your personality. Just like I have a very loud personality. Stephen tells me I am a very loud person. But you have like a jokester personality. You like to make jokes and you're always looking for ways to make something funny. And Stephen is like that too. I've had to learn a lot about that from Stephen. Stephen is like that too. So I was talking about how around Halloween time, homeless people often get kidnapped and turned into human sacrifices because people think that they're homeless, they have nobody, nobody's going to miss them. We can get away with taking a homeless person that has no identity and just doing what we want to. So Mr. G is saying, so if you're homeless, you get sacrificed. So buy a house. All right. Well, the sad thing is that I know that it's supposed to be a joke, but the sad thing is that there are a lot of homeless people because they cannot afford housing. Um, but I thank you for your input on that. Now, I don't know any particular numbers about people going missing, but again, I have heard statistics. The statistics say that the month of October, um, you have more kidnappings and more animal nappings. I mean, so it's not just for people, but people will take your black cats, which I love my two black cats. Uh, anyway, animals and people go missing a lot in October. And I was saying, if you're just now coming into the discussion, I was saying that on Halloween, there's a lot of blood sacrifice, whether it's animals or people. For the sacrificing to demonic forces. Um, so do you want to be more specific, Mr. Smith? Am I putting you on the spot too much? Let me check the numbers real quick. How are we doing on our numbers? No, we still need 8 more. We're still at 9,992. We still need 8 more people to hit the subscribe button before we reach 10K. Mr. G, I would disagree about homeless. They refuse to conform to society's norms and they go to work and expect handouts and have abused their families to the point of. And I want to make a comment about that. But before I do, let me put it out there to Mr. Smith if you're still there. Um, Oh, you have another commercial break. See, I get paid, okay? That's how I make money is when you stay long enough to get commercials. So that's how I make money, and I'm not going to apologize for that. So, Mr. Smith, did you want to? You don't have to if you don't want to, because nobody else is making these types of comments. But if you're willing to, Mr. Paul Z. Smith, Would you tell me more about what you mean by that there are good forces behind Halloween? Am I interpreting that correctly? Because you say, but like all things, there is the dark forces and the good forces, I think. So are you trying to say that, and I'm asking for clarification. That's all. Or do I mean to interpret that there are good things about Halloween? And if you want to expand on that, that would be great. Uh, and while you're thinking about that and typing that, if you want to type that, I want to go and address Mr. G's comments. I would disagree about homeless. They refuse to conform to society norm. They and go to work and expect handouts, and they've abused their families. So let me tell you, since there doesn't seem to be an interest, and I wish there was, but I can't force the interest. There's 10 people watching, and I've put it out there several times, and nobody's taken the bait except for Mr. Smith. I can't force people to talk about something that interests me about the whole spiritual aspect of Halloween. But so I guess we're going to move on to a different topic while we're trying to get 8 more subscribers. I'm going to move on to a different topic, and it's Mr. G's fault. So, Mr. G, I really like your comment, and let me tell you why I like your comment. And this is an interactive channel. This is why people do lives. Now, the more I do the lives, the better I'm going to get at it. I know that Tim Gentry, because Stephen works for Tim Gentry, so we watch a lot of Tim Gentry content because that's where our bread and butter is coming from through Stephen's work. So we see a lot of Tim Gentry's content, and he's very relaxed on lives, and lives are no big deal for him. I mean, he just flips on the live, he hits go live, and the lives are like just so natural to Tim Gentry. He does so many of them, and he does them so well. And for me, it's not so natural. And so the more I do a live, this is my second night in a row, which that's never happened. Let me tell you that I've never done 2 lives, 2 nights in a row. So don't get comfortable. Don't think I'm going to do a live every night. So don't get too excited about that. But the more you do them, the more you get used to them. But I guess where I'm going with that, Mr. G, is that the purpose of a live is to interact with your subscribers, to interact with your viewers, and to have dialogue and conversation. And even though I can't see all of you, I have 9 people looking at me. Whether you're watching on your phone or your tablet or your desktop, I currently have 9 sets of eyeballs on me. But I can't see anybody. I don't have a screen with everybody who's watching me. You can see me, but I can't see you. And I'm sure you enjoy the anonymity of that. But the whole idea is to interact with your audience and for them to get to know your channel. And so I want to interact with Mr. G on his comments about homeless people. I had a very interesting experience 2 weeks ago with supposedly, I'm going to get my air quotes out, okay? Supposedly a homeless young man, like in his 20s. You don't know who to trust anymore these days, and that's hard. When you don't know who to trust, and you are a compassionate person, and you want to do the right thing, and you want to do people right, and you want to show the love of Jesus, and you want to be salt and light in this world, and you want to do good for people, but yet people will always find a way to take advantage, always. And that's one of the things that Stephen has told me repeatedly. I've been married to Stephen for 22 years, and He has repeatedly told me. Oh, let me get to Mr. Smith's comment because I don't. Mr. Smith writes, it's a fine line in the spiritual realm. Bad can come through and good. You really got to use your gut feeling. It's very tricky, and everyone is receptive differently, some more than others, if at all. Okay, so you're talking about discernment, Mr. Paul Z. Smith. You're talking about discernment, that you have to have the discernment in the spiritual world. And I agree. It's a fine line in the spiritual realm and can come through and good. You really got to use your gut feeling. I would call what you're calling gut feeling, I would call that discernment. That would be a similar word to describe gut feeling. It's very tricky, and everyone is receptive differently, some more than others, if at all. Well, that's true. That's true. Well, I appreciate Mr. Paul Z. Smith for the comments on the matter. So thank you for that. Thank you for participating. And I really do mean that. I mean, I'm not just saying it. I really do appreciate you taking the opportunity to respond to my comments and what I asked you to do. Again, it's all about interacting with your audience. So let me tell you what happened to me with supposedly a young homeless person a couple weeks ago. But let me preface that by saying that Stephen has told me time and time again that, what's the word I want to use? That I'm too kind and thoughtful for my own good, that I'm too trustworthy, I'm too trusting, I'm too compassionate, I'm too ready to be kind and compassionate, that I don't have, talking about discernment, Mr. Smith, talking about discernment, that I don't naturally have the discernment to understand when somebody is trying to get one over on me. Now Stephen is streetwise. I'm not streetwise, but Stephen is streetwise. And there is at least an advantage of being streetwise. When you're streetwise, you know the type of people that are on the street, and you know the type of situations when you've been out there yourself and you have been a person on the street yourself, then you know the hard knocks of sleeping on park benches and eating out of trash cans and all the different things that go along with being homeless. But Stephen has never panhandled. He has been homeless. Now, this was when he was a very young person. Okay, like Stephen ran away from home when he was 12. And that's part of his testimony that he has shared. Naive, gullible, those are words that Mr. G is throwing out. Naive and gullible. Yes, Stephen has used those words with saying that I am naive and gullible and I don't have discernment. Stephen has never panhandled. Even when he was on the streets himself, he would always say that he would work, and he did. He worked for whatever people would give him and provide for him. He did not have a cardboard sign, and he did not have a panhandle. He didn't like chasing people down in traffic at traffic lights. Although his brother in Boise, Idaho, does that right now. And we made a video about that 2 months ago. Stephen has a brother that's a year older than him. Stephen is 63, Jimmy is 64, and Jimmy is a homeless man on the streets of Boise, Idaho, choosing to panhandle when we have offered him to come live with us. We have offered Stephen's brother to come live with us, And he is refusing to do that. He said he'd rather make his money panhandling on the streets of Boise, Idaho. Well, of course, that absolutely drives Stephen insane. He has never believed in people wearing signs around their neck saying, please support me, please give to me, anything helps. No, Stephen has, in Stephen's lowest points in time, he has always worked. If somebody wanted to help him, he would do a job, like a 1 day job. I mean, I'm not talking about like a 40-hour week clock in type of job. If like an afternoon of work, like a day laborer, I guess you can call it a day laborer. He would do an afternoon of work, and then they would pay him for that day or whatever. And he resents it big time when people wear signs that say, I need help, please give. And then we see signs that say veteran in need, or the worst offenders are what happened to me at Cracker Barrel, outside of Cracker Barrel in Cadiz, Kentucky, 2 weeks ago. Let's see, how are we doing on our numbers? Well, I don't know. I'm not asking you all to stick around all night. So I mean, it's 5 minutes to midnight for me. 5 minutes to midnight for me in Central Standard Time. I'm not asking you all, the 7 people that are still hanging around. I'm not asking you all to hang around all night, but I don't know. At some point, I'm going to have to make a decision about, do I just go to bed knowing that I have 8 people, or what? The worst people are the ones that take their kids to the corner. Yes, I agree with that, Mr. G. Um, but like people wear signs that will say, okay, oh, so what happened to me 2 weeks ago outside of the Cadiz, Kentucky Cracker Barrel? There was a young man who looked able bodied. I mean, he didn't look like, he looked healthy. Okay, let me just put it that way. He looked healthy. He didn't look like he was in any physical inability, disability to work. Of course, I mean, I'm passing in my vehicle and I'm only seeing him for a few seconds. Okay, uh, I'm making a judgment call just on looking at him from my vehicle window, passing down the street for a few seconds. Maybe he did have it. As I found out later, he did not. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what happened to me, but I look at him, and just by looking at him, can I tell that he has a disability? No. I mean, maybe he really does. But what really upsets me is where people wear a sign, and his sign said, "Child of God, God bless you for what you give." And that is exactly what his cardboard sign said. He had his head down and he had a ball cap on. So he had the ball cap covering his face. The visor from the ball cap was covering his face. And he had a cardboard sign. And the cardboard sign said, "Child of God, God bless you for what you give." And that's all it said. And it makes me really mad when people say stuff like that they want to tap into possibly their Christianity for people to be like, oh, you love the Jesus, you're a child of God. Well, what can I do to help you? That's very irritating. So when I was in Cracker Barrel with a friend, um, I decided to look at the Cracker Barrel's to go menu. I mean, they actually have a very specialized, like, menu of things that are already boxed up. Um, like they're already prepared. They prepare them specifically, uh, sort of like it's not fast food, but it's the same concept of fast food. Like they're already packaged up in a container and ready to go. It's called their takeout, take home fast food options. At least at the Cracker Barrel in Katie's, Kentucky. So it's not something you had to order off the menu and wait for it to be cooked if you wanted to take something home. It was already pre-packaged up for you. So I was looking at that menu and I thought, I'm going to get this young man something to eat because I don't give cash to people holding signs. Stephen taught me that a long time ago. I do not give cash to people holding signs because you do not know where that money is going. You don't know if they're an alcoholic. You don't know if they're a drug abuser. You just don't know. But if you want to minister to somebody, then you can minister to somebody by meeting their physical needs. But see, there's the clock. There's my midnight clock. I'm not sure which bird that is. I know that my 1 o'clock bird is a robin. I don't know what my 12 o'clock bird is. I should, I've had that clock forever, but I don't know what my 12 o'clock bird is. But yeah, so it just hit midnight here in southwestern Kentucky. So now it's officially November the 1st now. We're out of October now. And I got to experience that live with 7 people. 7 people shared in the time that shared with me when it rolled over from October 31st to November 1st. Um, Yes, Cracker Barrel, but not the one in Katie's. Cracker Barrel has gone woke, needs to go broke. I know as a chain, nationwide as a chain, there was a lot of issues with Cracker Barrel, the Rainbow Nation, and all that, the whole alphabet soup type of thing, but not the one in Katie's, Kentucky. The one in Katie's, Kentucky didn't buy into all that. But I do know what you're referring to. And Steven said, if the Cracker Barrel, and we are just like 10 miles out of Katie's. Katie's CADIZ. There you go, Paul, with your Z. Paul Z. Smith. There you go. It's CADIZ. Not Cadiz, but Cadiz, Kentucky. We're about 10 miles out of Cadiz, Kentucky, in Trigg County. And Stephen said that if that Cracker Barrel ever went woke, we certainly wouldn't be going back to that one. But all right, so I was looking at their menu and I ordered a large tea and I ordered something from their takeout already prepared menu. Yes, let's get you back on track. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. G. Let's get you back on track. You bought a meal to go. Okay, very good. Yeah, you have to do that with me because I ramble on. You have to do that with me. So, I bought it for this individual, not really knowing what to expect. Again, because if you're gonna minister, at least for me, if you're gonna minister to somebody, meet their physical needs, but you don't have to put cash in their hands. And so I took this. It was a large sweet tea, and it was a pre-boxed, pre-made meal, but it was still hot. I mean, it was a hot meal from Cracker Barrel, and I was absolutely disgusted with what happened. So I pulled my video, I pulled up my vehicle relatively close to this individual. I did not park in the middle of the street. I went in, I found a parking spot and that was closer to where he was sitting. So I moved my vehicle closer to a spot where he was sitting on the out parking lot area of the Cracker Barrel. And I was expecting to go up to him and introduce myself and just talk to him for a few minutes and offer him something to eat and drink because he'd been sitting out there for several hours, according to what the people in Cracker Barrel said. And I'm not sure exactly what I was expecting. I just thought that because every time I've done this, I've done it many times. Every time I've done this, Hey, you're funny. YouTube is awesome. I took a trip to Cracker Barrel, 52,000 words by Ruthie. That's right, 52,000 words. That's right. I wasn't really expecting this to happen. Instead of allowing me to approach this individual and introducing myself and just saying, "Hey, I've seen you sitting out here. I thought I would bring you something to eat and drink," because that's typically what I have done. I will go up to people that are basically that's what they're doing is they're panhandling, and I will say, "Hey, I'm Ruthie. I would bring this out to you and just try to minister to you in the name of Jesus to, to let you know that the Lord loves you and so forth." No, this man picked up his sign. He had a cardboard sign. He saw me coming towards him. He saw me coming towards him. And he picked up his sign and he tucked it underneath his arm. He just put it right there in his armpit. And he literally ran toward me. Ran toward me with his able-bodied legs. See? With his young 20-something-year-old able-bodied legs. Ran to me and he reached out for the sack and the drink because I had his food in a sack. And he said, "God bless you." And he took it and he ran away. And that really ticked me off because he didn't even wait for me to come to him and say, "Hey, I saw you. I was thinking of you. How can I minister to you besides bringing you this food? Hey, what's your name? How can I pray for you? What are your circumstances? Why are you out here? What is your disability? What's your life story? What's your story as to why you're out here on the parking lot outside of Cracker Barrel? What's your story?" Because I always do that when I talk to people. I try my best to find out about their circumstances and try to get to know them. I mean, not you can't know them, but I mean, for the sake of conversation, surface level stuff. I mean, just surface level, getting to know you type of things. No, he ran. He picked up his able-bodied legs and ran to me and grabbed the bag of food out of my hand. And then I had a like cardboard drink carrier and he got that and he said, "God bless you." And he ran away. And it just horrified me. I thought, well, he's a scam. There's nothing wrong with him. He was just waiting for somebody to either put some money in his pocket or to bring him a meal. And silly me, I took him a meal. Next time, poop in the sack. Next time, poop in the sack. Oh, another commercial. Well, good. That means I'm making money off your commercials. Good there, Mr. G. You never know. I mean, if somebody is just out there, Stephen has told me that some people are out there and they're professionals. That's what they do professionally. That they go early in the morning and they set up shop, so to speak. They have their signs, they have their sad faces, they have their props, and all of that, and they're actors and actresses, and they want you to believe that they're down and out on their luck and all of that, and then you're moved with compassion and they prey on your compassionate spirit and compassionate heart, and then they take advantage of you. And it's people like what happened to me outside of Cracker Barrel that makes me not want to help people. So I see that Mr. Smith says, yes, that's true. That does happen. So my brother absolutely to this day refuses to help any homeless person because of an experience that my brother had. So this was years ago. My brother did exactly what I did. He doesn't believe in giving somebody cash. Now this is going to burn. There's 8 of you watching. And for the 8 of you that are watching, listen to this. Listen to the horrible story that happened to my brother. So, my brother went and he went through he was passing by this homeless person, and he was passing by a fast food joint. So, he went through the drive through and picked up the man some coffee. I think it was a winter day. Okay. I mean, it was a cold day, whether it was fall or winter. It was a cold day that coffee would have been a better choice than an iced soda, because you needed to be warmed up because you're outside. So he got this man a coffee and a hot biscuit or a hot something to eat, something to warm him up. And so my brother offered this food to this man that was holding a sign saying, "Please help. Anything helps." I mean, just the typical sign. And the man said to my brother, I don't even know how to tell you this. It's horrifying. The homeless man said to my brother, "I don't want your food. I just want your money." Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He told my brother, he said, "I don't want your food. I just want your money." And so Peter, my brother is Peter, he snatched that bag of food back out of that man's hand, took away the coffee, and drove on. And so he said he was never going to do that again. He said here he was trying to act on the Holy Spirit, prompting him to help somebody. And really, all they wanted was cash. They didn't want a meal. And so I agree with my brother. If this person was really hurting, I mean, if this person was really desperate and was really hurting, that he would have been so grateful for that hot coffee and that hot meal. But because he wasn't truly in a situation of need, because he truly was not in need, and he was just panhandling as a job, as instead of working, but the way that most of us do work, and he was just trying to panhandle and get people to give him stuff. He wasn't interested in a hot meal. He wanted cash. And I'm glad that's never happened to me, but that totally destroyed it for Peter. He's like, "I'm never going to help another person again in this capacity." Somebody holding a sign. And then on a similar note, let's see, in what year was it? In 2018, 7 years ago. Is that right? In 2018, when AJ was 6 years old, um, Stephen and I and AJ went to California together. We took a family vacation together when AJ was 6, and AJ had never met Stephen's parents, and I'm glad that we did that because now both of Stephen's parents are deceased. Okay, so I'm glad that we did that. So when he met Stephen's dad. Well, they were divorced when he was a kid, but AJ met Stephen's dad, and then Stephen's stepmom married to his dad, and then he met Stephen's mom. And then AJ went to get to walk into the Pacific Ocean when he was 6 years old, and we have pictures of AJ walking into the Pacific Ocean at age 6, and what a wonderful thing that was. But I digress. As always, I digress. The reason why I mention this is because We were in Bakersfield, California, and we went to a donut shop. And I saw something that I had never seen. Never. And I don't see it around locally here. I mean, we do see panhandlers here, but what I'm about to say of what I saw, I haven't seen it since because I don't live in a big metropolitan area. So I have not seen it since. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I haven't seen it. We went to this donut shop and there was people laying on the sidewalk, like laying, like taking a nap, sleeping. They had a sleeping bag. They had pillows and a sleeping bag, and they were actually trying to sleep on the sidewalk of this donut shop, and they were everywhere. There was several people that were camped out, if you will, and I've just never seen anything like it. And again, it's because of where I live. I don't live in a major metropolitan area where there are large amounts of homeless people. I live in a very peaceful, quiet um, farming community with Amish and Mennonites all around me. And so, what I see every day is probably very different if you are a big city dweller of what you see every day. I see horses every day. I see I have a neighbor's horse that I love to feed. Horses and buggies are a way of life for me. Very slow paced environment here. So when I saw these people sleeping on the sidewalks, my radar goes off and I'm like, Stephen, we've got to help these people. We've got to help these people. Maybe we can buy them each a donut. Maybe we can buy them some coffee to warm them up. You know, we've got to help these people. And I'm not going to lie. I was really, really mad at Stephen for his response. I understand it now. I understand it in the afterwards part of it, but in 2018, when we were in the present moment in 2018, I did not understand what Stephen was saying and why he was choosing to act that way. I was horrified, like with a capital H, horrified about Stephen's response. Now he's from Bakersfield, okay? Now, see, you got to put that into context. Stephen grew up in Oildale and Bakersfield, and then he was also in Salina, in that area. But he said these people are choosing this lifestyle. They are choosing this lifestyle. If you help them, you are encouraging them. You are encouraging them to continue to do this. So you should not just go around helping people. The way you help people is to discourage them from living on the streets. And he also pointed out um, that he could tell just by looking at him. Of course, I don't have any street knowledge in this area. Okay. So I couldn't tell. I don't have any street knowledge. He said that basically what he saw was that these people were drug addicts. He says, I know that they're druggies. He's like, there are telltale signs, telltale signs. And I can look at somebody and just know if they are on drugs. Well, you have to remember, Stephen was a streetwise person. And Stephen lived on the street when he was really young, so he knows. So he's not just making that up, he knows. And he said, these people are clearly drug addicts. They are just looking for their next fix, and they're just going to sleep any and everywhere. And you don't need to be enabling them. Well, I was like, we can't even give him a cup of coffee. we can't even buy them a cup of coffee. And Stephen's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I'm like, are you serious? You're not even going to buy them a donut or a cup of coffee? We're not going to help these people? And it was making me really upset. And he's like, you don't know the culture. You don't know that these people are literally, I mean, this is where Stephen grew up. So not only did he grow up in Bakersfield, in the Oildale area, and not only did he grow up, but Stephen was somebody on the streets. So he knows what he's talking about. Unlike somebody like me who doesn't see stuff like that every day. And so he's like, no, we're not helping them because you're just enabling them. So it was really hard to walk around people that were just laying on the sidewalk like that was their bed. It was really hard doing that. I felt like surely I can do something for them. I just felt horrible. I wanted to help these people, but Stephen's like, if we give them money, they're going to just inject it in their veins, and and then if we give them coffee and donuts, they're going to come to expect that from everybody. So it was a cultural shock just to walk past these people that, to me, they were faceless and nameless. And it shouldn't be like that. With them being faceless and nameless, it shouldn't be like that. So it really, really bothered me. So, but that just goes back to the fact that Stephen tells me that I'm very naive about these things. And also, I'm not allowed to pick up hitchhikers. Any hitchhiker, male or female, but particularly male. Particularly male hitchhikers, but the female ones can be dangerous too. I mean, they could be knife wielding or gun toting or whatever. But I want to help people, and I want to see if I can give them a ride if I can. And he's like, no, you're because once again, it goes back to Stephen. Stephen has hitchhiked himself many, many times. That he's been a young hitchhiker himself many times. So he knows a lot of things about people hitchhiking and things that can happen when you pick up a hitchhiker and all that. So I know he's looking after for me. I know that he's just trying to take care of me. Now, I totally have no idea how all that got started. Mr. Paul Smith says the Bakerfield's live streams are pretty active, lots of action. The Bakerfield live stream. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Does the city of Bakerfield, I mean, I'm just asking. I really don't know. Wow, well, we're no closer. That's disappointing. I'm not going to make this is not going to be a 3-hour. Oh, wow. 2 hours already? No. I'm going to have to wrap this up. So we're still at 9,992. That's 2 days in a row, 2 nights in a row I've tried. I guess I'm going to call it quits in 1 minute to make it a 2-hour feed. So we didn't do it. So thank you for those of you that have stuck with me for 2 hours. Yeah, it's 12:30 a.m. On November the 1st. But I guess those of you that have been engaging in conversation with me, that have made me laugh and all of that, that have really been a blessing in the conversation. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being here. Oh, not even a drink in 2 hours? No, 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 I can just go on. I'm motor mouth, remember? I'm motor mouth, and you have to get me back on track. So I'm gonna close. And it's disappointing that we didn't 2 nights in a row that we didn't hit it 10K live. But you do what you do, and you try, and it didn't work. I am not wearing a Depends. I am not wearing a Depends, you silly goon. Anyway, thank you all so much. And maybe by tomorrow, we will have 10K tomorrow. We are that much closer to once again being Big Belly and Son. No longer Bumbles, but Big Belly and Son Trucking. I bid you farewell. This is now officially November the 1st, 2025. And I say good night and good morning, and thank you for watching. Bye, everybody. Thank you.